The bumps that rise on your arm when a song hits you just right are your body trying to fluff up fur that isn't there anymore. That's really what a goosebump is. It's an ancient animal reflex, firing inside a human who lost the coat that made it useful hundreds of thousands of years ago. You feel a chill run up your skin, a wave of tiny bumps, every hair standing to attention. And your body, in that instant, is doing exactly what a frightened cat does when it puffs up to look bigger. Only you have nothing to puff. Here is the strangest part. The same reflex that fires when you're freezing cold also fires when you hear a choir swell, or watch a film that moves you, or remember someone you lost. Fear, cold, and beauty all pull the same trigger. And by the end of this, you'll know why a piece of music can raise the same bumps on your skin as a predator in the dark. So let's start with what is actually happening under there. Every hair on your body sits in a tiny pit called a follicle. Attached to the side of each follicle is a microscopic muscle. It's called the arrector pili, which is just Latin for the muscle that raises the hair. Most of the time it's relaxed and your hair lies flat. But when it contracts, it tugs on the base of the hair and pulls it upright. The skin around the follicle gets pinched into a little dome. Multiply that by thousands of hairs at once, and you get that unmistakable rash of bumps. You don't decide to do this. You can't. Try to give yourself goosebumps on command, and for most people, nothing happens. That's the first clue that this isn't really yours to control. It belongs to an older system running underneath your thoughts. That system is the sympathetic nervous system. It's the part of you that handles emergencies. When something alarms you, it floods your body with a chemical called noradrenaline, and everything shifts into high gear. Your heart speeds up, your pupils widen, blood pulls away from your skin and rushes to your muscles, and those thousands of little arrector pili muscles all clench at the same time. Goosebumps are simply what that emergency looks like on the surface of your skin. They are the visible edge of your fight or flight response. Now think about why an animal would want its hair to stand up. Picture a cat that meets a dog in an alley. In a fraction of a second, its fur lifts, its tail swells, and the whole animal seems to double in size. That's the arrector pili muscles firing across its entire body. A bigger silhouette means a scarier animal, and a scarier animal is more likely to be left alone. For a creature with a real coat, standing your hair on end is a bluff. It's a way of saying, "Don't test me," without throwing a single punch. There's a second reason too, and it has to do with cold. When the hairs of a furry animal stand up, they trap a layer of warm air close to the skin. It's the same principle as a thick jumper or a down jacket. Fluffed fur is better insulation than flat fur. So for our distant ancestors, a cold wind and a frightening noise would both raise the coat, and both times it did something genuinely useful. Warmth in one case, the appearance of size in the other. But look at your own arm. Where is the coat? Somewhere along the human story, we lost most of our body hair. The fine, wispy hairs we have left can't trap warmth and can't make us look bigger. And yet the machinery to raise them is still fully installed. Every muscle, every nerve, every trigger, still there and still firing, powering a response that no longer does the job it was built for. You get the bumps, you just don't get the benefit. This is exactly what fascinated Charles Darwin. More than a century and a half ago, he wrote a book about how humans and animals show emotion, and he paid close attention to the way our hair stands up in fear and rage. He noticed that people report their hair standing on end in moments of terror, and he connected it directly to the bristling of animals under threat. To Darwin, goosebumps were a kind of living fossil, a behavior that made obvious sense in our hairy ancestors, carried forward into us almost unchanged, long after the reason for it faded. When you get goosebumps, you're watching a piece of deep evolutionary history play out on your own body. So if it's just a leftover reflex for cold and fear, here's the question that breaks the whole tidy story. Why does it happen when nothing is wrong at all? Why does it happen when you're warm, safe, and simply listening to a beautiful piece of music? Because that is the part science really struggles to explain. That shiver down the spine, when a song reaches its peak, has a name. Researchers call it frisson, or more plainly, the chills. And it is not rare. Depending on the study, somewhere between half and 2/3 of people report getting it. A voice cracks at the right moment. A key change lifts the whole song. The bass drops, or the whole orchestra arrives at once. And a wave rolls up your neck and across your arms, raising the same bumps that a cold night would. One of the first scientists to take this seriously was a psychologist named Jaak Panksepp. In the 1990s, he ran experiments playing music to people and asking, very carefully, when and where they felt those chills. He found something striking. The chills weren't strongest during happy, triumphant music. They were strongest during music that felt sad, or tender, or bittersweet. Music that touched something like loss. Panksepp had a theory about why. He suspected the chill was tied to an ancient circuit for social bonding, the same system that makes a young animal cry out when it's separated from its mother. In that view, a moving piece of music brushes up against our oldest feelings about connection and separation, and the body answers the only way it knows how, by raising the hair, the way it would in the cold, when what we really want is to be held. Sit with how odd that is. The reflex your ancestors used to survive a freezing night is the same one that fires when a melody makes you ache for someone. Same muscles, same nerves, same bumps, just a completely different trigger reaching in and pulling the lever. And here's where it gets more personal, because not everyone feels this. Maybe you get chills from music constantly, several times a day. Or maybe you've heard people describe it and quietly wondered if something is different about you, because you rarely feel a thing. It turns out that difference might be built into your brain. A researcher named Sachs looked into exactly this. He gathered people who reliably got the chills from music and compared them with people who didn't. And he scanned their brains. He found a real physical difference. The people who felt frisson had denser bundles of nerve fibers connecting the part of the brain that processes sound to the parts that handle emotion and reward. More wiring between hearing and feeling. It's as if in some people, the line between a sound and an emotion is shorter and thicker. So music travels straight to the core and sets off the alarm. If you're someone who cries at songs and raises goosebumps at a swelling chorus, that isn't oversensitivity. It may simply be that your brain is built with a wider road between the music and the feeling. So we have a reflex for cold, a reflex for fear, and somehow the very same reflex answering beauty and grief. But there's one more discovery, and it might be the strangest of all, because it suggests goosebumps were never only about the moment. They might be about the future of your skin. In 2020, a team of scientists at Harvard, led by a biologist named Ya-Chieh Hsu, went looking at what the goosebump machinery is physically connected to. And they found something nobody expected. The same nerve that makes the tiny muscle contract, the one that raises your hair when you're cold, also reaches down and touches the stem cells that grow new hair. The muscle, the nerve, and the follicle's own regenerative cells are all bound together in one little unit. When it's cold for a short time, the nerve fires and your hair stands up. But when it's cold for a long time, that same nerve does something more. It signals those stem cells to wake up and grow a new, thicker coat. Think about what that means. Goosebumps aren't just a flimsy leftover doing nothing. The reflex is a two-part answer to cold. In the short term, raise the hairs you have and trap some warmth right now. In the long term, tell the body to grow more hair for the winter ahead. The quick shiver on your arm is connected to the slow work of regrowing a coat, all through the same wiring. For an animal with fur, that's a beautifully complete survival system. For you, with your bare arms, it's a magnificent machine still running at full power, connected to a coat that never comes. And that is the quiet wonder hiding in a goosebump. Every time your skin prickles, whether from a cold doorway, a jolt of fear, or a song that undoes you, you're feeling the pull of a body that remembers being an animal. The muscle that a cat uses to look dangerous. The insulation that kept your ancestors alive through the dark. The bonding cry translated into a shiver. The hidden switch that grows a winter coat. All of it firing inside a creature that walked away from its fur a very long time ago and never bothered to switch off the alarm. So the next time a piece of music raises the hair on your arm, look down at those little bumps and remember what they really are. Not a glitch, not nothing. Your body trying to fluff up a coat that isn't there anymore. Move to do it not by the cold, but by something beautiful.